in the Carolinas are racing to harvest this year's crop before Florence makes landfall. At the same time, the US Food and Drug Administration is bringing the industry some good news. Tobacco shares are very sharply up after the agency announced a crackdown on e-cigarettes. Now, the FDA, just look at that. Philip Morris is up 2%, BAT is up 2.8%, Imperial is up 1%. The FDA announced historic action to beat what it's been calling a teen vaping epidemic. So, more on the industry's woes, not just, of course, the tobacco, but also the cannabis industry as well. I'm joined by the man best known as the KISS frontman, Gene Simmons. He's also known as the Chief Evangelist Officer for the Canadian cannabis company Invictus. Good to see you, sir.
Nice to see you, sir.
Now, we're going to be talking more about your projects later, but I do need to get your take, because you do represent, in a sense, a cannabis company. When the FDA warns against vaping and tobacco stocks go up, where does that leave you?
Look, let's call it for what it is. As a citizen of these United States, it's clear that this is a political action. The tobacco industry are made up of fine American workers and so on and so forth. They've been here forever, but let's call it for what it is. The government forced the tobacco industry to actually put on the tobacco sales. This may give you cancer and all sorts of other problems. This is not a healthy product. E-cigarettes and vaping is even worse. So the idea of pointing out that vaping is bad for you and putting legislation to prevent it, of course, makes tobacco go up. But the real answer is, in the interest of full disclosure, is neither is a healthy product for people.
Right, that's always my point. Neither is a healthy product, and you represent a Canadian company, which of course can't sell in the into the United States.
Well, I am in the financial sense, I am a shareholder, a stockholder. I've got 10 to 12 million bucks in stock, and they did pay me $2.5 million in the interest of full disclosure. Rules dictated that I announce that publicly all the time. I'm not their celebrity spokesman. There are rules against that.
So why did you get into it?
I have never used cannabis in my life. I don't use heavy drugs. I do take aspirin every once in a while, but I believe...
Smoke a joint?
I've never have. Not close. I don't like the smell of it and all that. But it should be on the menu of life. If cigarettes are legal and if mass consumption of alcohol is legal, surely cannabis isn't bad for you.
How do you answer the point, well, the gateway drug argument, that which I actually find holds some water, but might actually not if you make it more available? It's because you're dealing with unsavory people to get the cannabis that often you end up sort of going further down the road than one should.
Of the people, for the people, by the people. Let the people decide. Cigarettes may give you cancer. The people have decided it should be legal. Is that a gateway to other activities? There are bar fights and DUIs, and people are getting killed, and even wife-beaters clothing that describe what happens when you drink too much. It was prohibited once. Alcohol became legal. Cannabis, researchers are telling us, is good for epilepsy, people with depression, and so on.
Elon Musk.
And the other thing is, most importantly, and Elon Musk, it's good for him too, he should be rehired and given a big windfall even more. But the final note is, even if you use cannabis recreationally, you may get the munchies and you may watch Richard Quest again and again and again.
There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, Musk still holds his job for the time.
Oh, he's got another president in there in the interim, but America can use many more Elon Musks, individual entrepreneurs.
Hold it, sir. Hold it. I knew this was going to be tough. We'll be talking more about with you later in the program. As we continue, we're going to